In this video, we've got a somewhat hasty test of this 1960 MGA, technically late 1959 I think, but first registered in 1960. So I'm going to jump very quickly straight into the history of the MGA. The styling based on a 1951 Le Mans car Streamliner designed by MG chief designer Sid Enever, and then he translated it by 1955 into this beautiful sports car. It was launched originally with a 1500cc engine, well actually 1489 technically. By the time this one was made in 1960, the capacity was up to 1558cc. But like I said, it was only in production for about a year or so, and then it went up to 1622 for the final final 2 years of MGA production. The MGA replaced by the B in 1962. Beautiful design, the 1600 launched such fascinating features as indicators that were actually separate from the rear tail lamps. Obviously everyone recognises these from Morris Minors and the like, but yeah, truly beautiful car. It's still on a separate chassis, no monocoque construction, that would come with the MGB, but mechanically very, very simple. It's just a B series engine. Let's have a quick look under the bonnet. There we have it, the B series engine with twin SU carburetors. This one beautifully unmeddled with, still got a dynamo, still got the basic fan driven by the engine, means it can get a little warm in traffic. You have to be a bit careful with these older cars. We have driven the MGA twin cam previously while I was down in Australia. That was about 4 years ago. But this is the first time we've had a B series powered MGA on the channel, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this compares with the later B, and how much fun is it to drive with 79.5 brake horsepower. That's the claim figure from MG. So let's hop aboard, have a look around, and we'll get down the road quick. Oh, here's a bonus. How awesome is that? Old comma truck. Probably a later Dodge badge one. That was fun. The colour of this one is actually a rarity. This is Alamo Beige. Very, very rare, but it is an original UK market colour, and it is an original UK market car. To get in, there's a bit of string we pull, and the door comes open like so. And then we head in. I'll quickly take you through the controls. I'm trying to do this really quick and utterly failing. Wipers, very important. Screen wash. Choke. Starter, you pull that to start. Lights there, you pull and twist that to get the lights on. Front fog lights aren't fitted, but we have a switch. Panel lights, indicators, left for left. And it's clockwork, so you can see it gradually turning its way off, so you can't leave the indicators on. This is before they linked it to the steering, so eventually the indicators ping off and stop flashing. That is the warning light for your indicators when the ignition is actually on. That was interesting. We've got a Morris badge on this chunky wooden steering wheel. It would normally be quite a big affair, so that's nicely sporty, I think. Lots of storage in here. Got some there, some in that door, and some behind the hood. The hood is stashed here, and you rather have to assemble it if it rains. Right, before we get you in the mount, there's the important business of the horn. Proper, not this. That's a fake. And the windscreen wiper test. Pop the ignition on. Squirty squirty, there's some screen wash, and the wipers like so. Tiny little things, not actually very good, but they do overlap, no triangle of doom. And then they need a little help to just park nice and low again. Right, I've just had to come to a different start point. I was getting far too busy with traffic along that one. The handbrake is a slightly unusual device. You pull it up and press the button in to lock it on, and then you just pull it up and let it go, and that will take the handbrake off. So let's see if we can get out of this junction. It's quite tight. Pop the indicator on. We'll go chasing a BMW apparently. Wow. That's 40. Rorty, but not quick. 50. Take your time with the synchromesh. It's a slightly clumsy gearbox. It likes rev matching and a bit of time taken, but by heck, this is fun. This is what it's all about. This is why American servicemen fell in love with MGs. It wasn't just the women they liked when they came to Britain during the Second World War. They very much fell in love with the cars too, which is why in a production run of 101,000 of these, only 5,800 were sold in the UK. A pitiful figure really, very, very low. I'm going to take it down some twisty roads just to see what they're like. Very close gate on this box, it's very, very tight, you have to be very careful with it. But yeah, the steering is just so direct and lovely. And really, America didn't have anything to touch the MGA, that's why they sold in such good numbers. I fear I've just driven into a dead end. Excellent. We shall about turn and go back. Any excuse just to drive this car a bit more, eh? So like I said, reverse is next to second, which is not the best place for it perhaps. That remained a feature of MGs well into the 1970s. The MGB still had that set up. Is that, yeah, that's first, there we go. No synchromesh. So you have to be a bit careful trying to get first on the move, but really you don't need to. B-series engines always had really good torque characteristics, so good lugging power. You only really need first just to get that initial burst of power. Yeah, I don't know how they did it at Abingdon. They just made amazing things happen with not very much. That was a almost perfect clutch, double declutch into first. Oh, that noise. It's not the reviest engine, about 4,500 is enough, frankly. But oh, the sounds, the experience, the wind in your hair. It's so exciting, it's so vibrant, it's so alive. And that's what the servicemen really fell for. And why so many MGs were sold in America. Not just MG, of course, Jaguars, Austin Healey's, Triumphs also sold really well. The Brits are so good at this. Let's make a sports car out of something ordinary. And I'd say in some way, MG were the absolute kings. Just absolutely joyous. The ride isn't the smoothest, but it's not too bad actually. Compared to a T-Type midget, you could almost describe it as refined. But yeah, this really is motoring. In some ways this construction is quite old, still got a separate chassis. I believe the floorboards are actually wood. It wasn't until the MGB that things got a bit more advanced, monocoque construction. But really an MGB is just a mildly worked over MGA. The initial recipe was already so very, very good. Ah. Oh, marvelous. I'm at the legal speed limit of this road, 30 miles an hour. Why am I smiling so much? Oh, this is steep. Oh, just a joy. Let's go and do it all over again. Keep it chugging over in second. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, magic. MG magic. Oh my days, once again an MG delivers so much more than you might expect. So good. With really, on paper, so very, very little. Those workers at Abingdon really knew their stuff. Huge thanks to Claire for letting me drive this car. We're here as part of the Women Drivers social group meet, and there's actually two of these. Charlotte Valden's here with hers as well, a very similar age, so just remarkable. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store for delicious merchandise, and I shall see you in a future video. Farewell.